During the midpoint of a generation like we are with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, we usually start hearing rumors about when or what the next generation of consoles is going to be. Now, for the people who have a PS4 and haven't updated, there's a lot of good news in this leak, and it comes from Moore's Law is dead, and if it comes from him, more than likely there's like a 90% accurate rate, to the point where PlayStation has taken down his videos because they're like have too good of information. So here's some bullet points of what we are hearing about the next generation of consoles. The next gen home console is codenamed Orion. A new handheld is in the works, codenamed Canis. So if you guys don't know who Orion is the son of Poseidon. His mom was a giant, and he was known as a great hunter, and he had dogs, Canis Major, the great dog, and Canis Minor, the lesser dog. So you can see how PlayStation is kind of giving hints with what this console is going to be just by the code names alone. Both are planned to use AMD's next-gen RDNA 5 graphics architecture. So RDNA is the next architecture of what AMD is going to do, if they call it RDNA at all. If you heard of DLSS, which is what NVIDIA has for their AI architecture, this is basically what this is. RDNA 5 more than likely might not be called RDNA 5, but to keep it simple, we're just going to call it that because we don't know what the hell it's going to be called. PlayStation is working directly with them to make this neural system that makes AI upscaling and ray tracing a lot more efficient, and make it to where you don't have to have these extremely powerful like rigs in order to like make the game look good. RDNA 5's architecture helps to where they're saying that each core in the CPU or GPU of or each core of the GPU is around 65% stronger than the cores in the PlayStation 5 Pro. So that's already really strong. Keep that in mind when you hear the specs coming up, is that RDNA 5 is extremely efficient, so don't be too disappointed like if you find this kind of thing disappointing. And this is what I mean for PS4 fans and why this is good news for you. Strategy: Sony is aiming for a mass market appeal with a reasonable price, similar to the PS4 launch strategy, rather than a super expensive high spec machine. And I think the thing that PlayStation is saying here is that 4K needs to be the dominant resolution for at least the next 10 to 20 years. Because this whole like, let's go to 8K, let's go to 10K, like we don't even have GPUs that can do 4K like all the time when it comes to gaming. It's very rare, unless you spend $1,000 to $1,500 on a GPU, that you can run 4K natively. For all you 90s kids out here, the rise of 480p as a standard resolution came to be traced back to the late 1990s and early 2000s. So yeah, that's about 10 years. Like that's about 12 years of total resolution time, because there was probably 480p way like a couple years before that, but only rich people could get it, kind of like cell phones. So making this like high-end $900 console really doesn't make sense. Like what we should be hitting is the minimum of 4K. And honestly, if I had it my way, it would be 1440p. The leak suggests the PS6 will have around triple the rasterization performance of the PS5 and a massive 6 to 10 improvement in ray tracing. And here's what I like about this whole thing that they're doing. Instead of like beefing this thing up and like putting this high end voltage monster that like does this, how about we do some like efficiency? It's targeted a lower consumption than the PS5 with 8 Zen 6 CPU cores and 40 to 85 RDNA 5 GPU compute units working at 3 GHz or higher. Again, I love the idea of the efficiency. I love the idea that, yeah, this is the resolution we're going to be targeting. We're not going to be putting some crazy ass technology in here in order to try to reach 8K, which we'll never get to, or these insane, like, stupid standards that are unnecessary for a game. Like right now, what people want is something affordable. So I understand I understand that. And even at that, keep in mind that a lot of this technology, when it comes out, is going to be really well optimized because of RDNA 5. So that's a good thing for the long term for this console as well. There's compatibility confirmed for both the PS4 and the PS5. This is the one thing that I've been saying for the longest time. If this thing can't play my games from my library like day one, this thing's DOA. Like this thing's, I think for any console right now, if your next generation console, whether it's handheld, whether it's a console that you have at home, like a home console like the PS5, if your console does not have backwards compatibility, it is DOA. It is dead on arrival. It's not gonna do good. I guarantee you that it's not gonna do good. So PlayStation has more than likely added the amount of cores that they have and the amount of RAM that they have in order to compensate for that. That way it's easier for developers to be able to port forward, and it also helps with when we get into the handheld department. Release window manufacturing is planned for mid 2027, pointing to a holiday 2027 or early 2028 launch. My guess is probably gonna be holiday 2027 announcement and 2028 early launch, like in the summertime or something like that. Especially if they're trying to target a mass audience, $499 would be perfect. And it would be also perfect when we get into the details of a PlayStation 6 handheld, Canis. Performance, this thing sounds like a beast. It's estimated to have about half the rasterization power of a PS5, but could potentially have better ray tracing performance than the PS5. And the reason why that's good is because if you can use ray tracing, you can make this handheld essentially a weaker version of the PS6 because of the upscaling capabilities. That would make it to where it is passable for you to like, oh yeah, this is actually pretty good for on the go, or for me to connect on the go on some TV. Which, speaking of hybrid design, it's a true handheld but will feature a USB-C port with video out, meaning you can dock it and play on the TV like a home console. A hybrid design, a true handheld but will feature a USB-C port with video out, meaning you can dock it and play it on a TV like home console. So yeah, like it's pretty much gonna have a dock where you can connect this thing, and this is where the DLSS is gonna come in, or the RDNA that they have for this, or what they call FSR, their technology that does the ray tracing, that does the frame generation. This is why it is important for the big TV. Don't get me wrong, it's going to play an important role when it comes to handheld, and you see it on when you dock this thing into the dock and you watch it on a giant TV. This is where it's going to shine, where you'll probably will be like, that's not that bad, or most people won't be able to tell the difference between this and the PS6, or even that matter for people to even care. Before we get into the price points, keep in mind that we've only talked about Orion and Canis. There was also another dog in this mythology, and that is Canis Minor, the lesser dog. So Orion the Great Hunter, which is the PS6, Canis Major, the Great Dog, which is the PlayStation Portable that is coming out next generation. So what would Canis Minor be? So pretty much what Moore's Law was saying is that there's going to be a PS6, there's going to be a PlayStation Portable that's pretty much going to be a little less stronger than the PS5, but in some ways better than the PS5. And there was another console that he speculates that they might take into consideration and might make, which is take the PlayStation Portable that you want to do, and for the people who don't want a PlayStation Portable and just want the weaker console at home because they would have their PS Portable docked all the time because they don't really do anything, they just mostly only play on console and they don't play on the go, they would make that, but in a console design, stripped with the screen, stripped of the battery, stripped of all the other things that would make this thing $499, and make this thing either $299 or $399, which I'm guessing if they want affordability, they more than likely would make it $299. That way you have an even more affordable console for people to get, and they wouldn't be able to tell the difference for the most part, or care that there's a difference from the And I would have to say I agree with him. I honestly do think that there's going to be a stripped down version that is a console of the PlayStation Portable in order for people to just have it at home. A $299 console is an insane proposition and an insane discount if they can do that, because it would really pretty much put them in competition with the Switch 2 and Steam, because Steam is planning on doing their own console as well. So as far as price, now that we're going to get into that, he suggests the price of the handheld would be probably about $399 or $500. By the time this goes on, I'm pretty sure the console is going to be $399. They'll be able to push the console to be able to break even with the $399 price and make money with the software like the way PlayStation always does. With the PS6 being around $499 to where it's going, I'm pretty sure it's going to be at $499 by the time this console comes out, which is probably while they push it to 2028, because they're going to want to hit that $499 price point. And if you can have a portable that is $399, a console, the main console be $499, and then even have a even discounted version of the portable one as a home console device that is stripped down from all the things that would make it expensive, they would have pretty much the most versatile lineup that they have. They would be in direct competition with the Switch 2, with Steam, and also with Xbox, even though that they're not really competing with them anymore. And he goes on to say that Sony seems to be focusing on delivering a powerful, efficient, affordable, next-generation console experience from both home and portable gaming. The emphasis on backwards compatibility is a huge win, ensuring your existing library of games comes with you. And also, developers have been reportedly briefed on the PS6 since early this year, so games are already being planned for this next-gen hardware. So look, if you're a PS5 fan and we're expecting this high-end console to come out next generation, and it was going to be 8K, and it was going to be full ray tracing out of your butthole and all this other stuff, it's still going to have impressive technology in it. It's probably going to be around the strength of a 480. If anything, it'll be a little bit stronger than certain high-end AMD GPUs right now at the moment, which by the way is insane for an APU. It just goes to show you how far APUs have come in the last 10 years. I think PlayStation understands that people want something a little more affordable, and they'll be able to do that because of the fact that technology is becoming more efficient with upscaling and with ray tracing. Ray tracing was a very inefficient thing, and I think that what they want to focus on is efficiency with making those things. And I think they're seeing this with the help of development that they're giving GTA in order for it to hit 60 frames per second with all the ray tracing and all the stuff that it has in it. It looks impressive on the PS5. The problem is that a lot of the technology right now was limited because it really didn't have their AI and their DLSS and their FSR kind of efficient to where we're getting it now and to where it can be in 3 years, which is why PlayStation is working directly with AMD in order to make that happen, in order to have a more affordable price that people can buy a $299 console or a $399 console and pretty much not be able to tell the difference if it's better or not. And this would get the PS4 audience that has an upgrade to go to the PS6 generation and finally upgrade and feel like it's kind of worth it because you can play everything. And the same thing with the handheld. You'll probably be able to play PS6 games, but at a lower resolution and kind of lower textures and stuff like that, but you wouldn't be able to tell because of the DLSS. And this is why it's good news for PS4 owners. If you're PS5 owners and you're disappointed that this isn't going to be the high-end technology, I think you're seeing it for what technology used to be, of where we're constantly trying to make better GPUs and make more stronger, rainbows come out of our ass. That's not where technology is heading right now. Where we're heading is trying to optimize the current technology that we have right now with software and with tools to be able to make games a lot more portable for different level devices. One of the mistakes that Xbox made when it came to the Series S was they made kind of a mistake with the RAM and the unified RAM that it had on there, which made it a lot harder for developers to port their games from the Xbox Series X to the S was kind of a pain in the butt. That's where, as usual, Xbox had a good plan but executed it poorly. And this is where I think PlayStation can do better and make basically a low-powered PS5 that will be compatible with all the future and past games to the PS4, because let's be real, we're probably not going to get full compatibility of the PS3 games. We're lucky if that happens. I think this is a smart move by PlayStation. I think efficiency should be where we go to this generation. It should be what we do. We shouldn't be wasting resources like the way we did this generation. The PC generation has just been a complete joke when it comes to like $1,500 GPUs on Nvidia side, and AMD kind of not offering any counter to that GPU, because it doesn't make sense for you to make high-end GPUs that are so expensive that only a select few people are going to buy, and which leaves developers to unoptimize certain like parts of the game. And we're seeing more examples with the way Horizon looks on PC and the amount of resources that it uses, and The Last of Us on PC with the amount of resources that it uses. There's still so much room for optimization and tools to be able to make that a lot easier for this rumored $299 console, this rumored $399 handheld, and this rumored $499 console, that all of them can have the exact same ecosystem, but at the same time be efficient with their technology. There's a lot of room for this, and I cannot wait to see how this goes. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think that these leaks are going to be true? And of course, there's going to be some changes when it comes to these leaks. There's going to be probably either buffing some of this stuff up if things get cheaper, or potentially just leaving it the same, or taking out features altogether, which I highly doubt is going to happen. But let me know what you think in the comment section, and remember, you're pretty good.